In this video, we will be replacing the stock halogen headlights in this 2020 Dodge Challenger with all new LED bulbs from Ayla Lighting. The only tools needed for this installation is a 5/16 wrench. This installation will replace both the high and low beam headlights, which is just one bulb on each side. The headlights are here on the outside of the car. We will start under the hood. On the driver's side, access to the headlight is limited, so we'll be showing you how to remove the plastic shroud and air filter. The plastic shroud is held on by 3 retaining clips on the bottom and 2 more in the sides. Begin by sliding your hand under this lip here, and then you can lift the cover up to pop free the retaining clips. Maneuver one end to pull it free from the hood latch. You can then lift it to reveal where the clips were attached. To release the 2 remaining clips on the side, pull the plastic shroud towards the middle of the car. You can see here the 2 holes that hold the clips. Ayla Lighting bonus tip. You don't necessarily need to remove the top shroud to access the passenger side. This little holder here is a perfect place to hold the dust cover when you remove it. To remove the other side, just lift the cover to release the bottom clips. Then pull it towards the middle of the car to release the side clips. With the plastic shroud removed, we can reach the driver's side bulb through the hole in the top. However, for the sake of this video, we'll remove the air filter. There's just one 5/16 bolt at the top of the filter that needs to be removed. Make note of how the filter rests in place at the bottom. When you pull the filter up and out, you can see the foam seal that needs to fit tightly when you put it back. You can also remove the hose clamps holding the filter, but it's not necessary, as we can now move the filter out of the way. We can now easily access the back of the light housing. Remove the dust cover by turning it counterclockwise. Pay close attention to the orientation of the halogen bulb. This will help you when you reinstall the LED. Turn this bulb clockwise to unlock it and remove it. Pull the wire connector off the bulb. Gently lift the locking tab and pull it apart. Now that we have it out, let's compare the new LED to the old halogen bulb. You can see that the LED looks different than the halogen with the external driver and fan. But if we look closer, the LED chips and the halogen filaments are in the same spot. And both connectors are identical, making for an easy plug-and-play fit. When the LED is installed after lining up the tabs, it will look like this. We'll adjust this bulb so the chips are facing out to the left and right and to avoid the wire coming out the top. Use the included Allen wrench to loosen the adjustment screw. Hold the chuck to keep the large tab at the same 7 o'clock position as the halogen bulb and turn the bulb until the wire is down at the 6 o'clock position. Tighten the set screw and we can install the bulb. Push the wire connectors together until it clicks in place. This bulb is polarity sensitive, so we'll test it to make sure it works. It lights, so we'll continue installing. Remembering how the halogen bulb looked before we removed it, the largest tab was facing out towards the driver's side when it was unlocked. This is how we will install the LED. Line up the tabs and push the LED into the housing. Turn the bulb counterclockwise to lock it. When we test it again, there's no warning on the dash, but there's a slight flicker coming from the LED. This is an easy fix. We will install a mini decoder into the chain. To install the decoder, simply plug one end into the power coming from the vehicle, the other end into the LED bulb. So when we plug it in, you can see the power from the vehicle is plugged into the decoder, and then the decoder is plugged into the LED bulb. When we test it, it doesn't light. But remember, this bulb is polarity sensitive, so we will need to flip the plug going from the bulb to the decoder. Once it's flipped, you can see it all works now. And still no error on the dash. Now that we are assured it all works, we'll go ahead and put this side back together. Being careful not to crowd the headlight to avoid conflicting with the high and low beam switching function, pack the LED driver, wires, and decoder into the housing. There is plenty of room in the housing on the right side of the bulb. The last thing to do is replace the dust cover. Line up the large tab on the outside pointed at 10 o'clock. Turn the dust cover clockwise to lock it, and that large tab will now be vertical. ALA lighting bonus tip. If the LED bulb is too big and your vehicle's dust cover won't fit, we carry aftermarket dust covers with a larger dome to fit all kinds of vehicles. Remember that you should measure the diameter of the housing and not the old dust cover when you're shopping for a replacement. This dust cover is 1 millimeter larger than the opening, but we can fix that too. We recommend putting some grease in between the cap and the housing, and then use a zip tie to tighten it all down for a waterproof seal. Now we can compare the new LED on the driver's side to the halogen still installed on the passenger side. It looks great, and there's no flicker. Time to replace the air filter. Wiggle the filter back into place and be sure the bottom of the filter fits over the hole and fits tightly. Line up the hole on the top and replace the 5/16 bolt. Side by side, you can clearly see the color and brightness difference between the old and new. The new bulb has the same cutoff line as the old bulb, meaning it's installed correctly and won't blind oncoming drivers. On the passenger side, you can access the bulb easily from the top now that the cover is removed. ALA lighting bonus tip. Another possible way, if you cannot maneuver from the top, would be to remove part of the fender liner. There are retaining clips on the liner that need to be removed, but you should know that these are one-time clips that need to be cut to be removed, so they would need to be replaced if you go this route. But you can also reach in from behind to access the bulb without having to remove the plastic shroud. Reach the dust cover and turn it counterclockwise to unlock it and pull it out. Turn the bulb clockwise to unlock it, turning it from the 7 o'clock position to the 10 o'clock position, and pull it out. Again, pay attention to the orientation of the bulb and where that large tab is. Unplugging the wire connector is the same, but we'll use a flat tool this time to lift the locking tab and then pull it apart. We already know that a decoder is going to be needed, so we will pre-install it onto the LED bulb. We also know that this bulb will need to be adjusted, so we adjust the orientation of the bulb so the wire is hanging down. Installing the LED is the same as the other side. Line up the largest tab the same as the halogen you had just removed. In this case, about the 10 o'clock position. Turn the bulb counterclockwise to lock it. Plug the wire connector from the decoder into the power from the vehicle and test it. If there are no polarity issues, go ahead and finish this side by packing the decoder, LED driver, and any extra wires into the housing. Finish by replacing the dust cover. You can now finish putting everything back together. The plastic shroud pieces fit together. Start on the passenger side and slide the side tabs into place first. Then push down in the area of the other tabs to lock them in place. On the driver's side, do the same. Slide the side tabs into place, and then bend and wiggle the shroud until you get it back under the hood latch. Press down on the tabs, and the installation is complete. Let's look at what the high and low beams look like now with all new LED bulbs from ALA Lighting. Right away, you can see the color and brightness difference. We've taken the extra step to set up a light meter so you can see the data for yourself on how much brighter these new bulbs will be. A measure of the halogen low beams has a color temp of 3066 degrees Kelvin and a lux of 411. The halogen high beams comes back with a reading of 3,222 degrees Kelvin for the color temp and a lux of 621. If we do the same measurements for the LED, the low beam has a color temp of 6,789 degrees Kelvin and a lux of 1,360. For the high beams, these readings jump to 6,886 degrees Kelvin and a lux of 1,530. These new bulbs are truly
safer, smarter, brighter, better. We are Ayla Lighting.